Story 1. Assuming it was financial independence, talk to him in his office, thanking him for giving me a chance to get out of the toxic environment in the main warehouse. Tell him that a sudden new opportunity has come up. Work with him to clean up my workspace. Leave amicably. I would not tell him that I won the lottery or give him money. You keep your lips zipped with that sort of information. Story 2. My boss has always been amazing to me, so it would probably be along the lines of, here is $20,000. Enjoy it with your family. I am going to leave, obviously, but I will work until you get a replacement. Story 3. I just would not show up. After 15 years, they have shown themselves to be horrible people. Story 4. Nothing except that I am quitting. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, on the other hand, would get to hear all about the loose asbestos, lead dust, improvised radiation shielding, improper chemical storage, and unventilated liquid nitrogen working areas. Story 5. I wouldn't quit my job until the 20-foot FU sign showed up. Story 6. Probably just tell him the truth. Stay working until they find a replacement so as not to hurt anybody, including coworkers. I like my boss and coworkers. I would just be really nice about it. Nobody would blame me. Having money is the easiest time to be nice to people. I would be in a good mood. I just want a bunch of money. Why would I be angry? None of that matters now. Story 7. Yeah, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I have found another opportunity that works better with my current scheduling needs, and I'm really sad to leave you because you are kind of awesome. Also, get out of here. This place does you absolutely zero favors, and you are better than this nonsense. Story 8. I would probably just say, thank you for the opportunity, but I am retiring early to live my dream. Goodbye. Story 9. Barbershop Quartet. Get gone. Oh, get so very gone. Get gone. Like a brothel worker gone. Get gone. Like falling out a window gone. Get gone. Die in a fire level gone. I needed. Doo-wop. A single day. Soo-wop. Soo-wop. To end my. Too-wop. Too-wop. Tooth pain. Poo-top. Poo-top. But you wop. Didn't let me. Loom-up. Loom-up. And it's killing. And it's killing. Me to this day. And so. And so. And so. Get gone. Story 10. I would tell him he is a great project manager but a micromanaging, annoying person that nobody likes. He needs to change his style or he will not have a team to manage. I would not give him any money because he is clearly not doing well. I also would not give him 2 weeks' notice. Story 11. Thank you for the amazing opportunities, mentorship, and support in helping me provide for my family all these years. If I had to work, I would continue to do so here, but now I have the time and means to pursue other things. Thank you again. Story 12. I wouldn't say anything about a lottery win. I'd probably say something like, I'm afraid I'm handing in my notice. I can't work here any longer. Helen has made it impossible for me to continue working here. She is rude to patients and other staff members alike, and I have overheard her speaking unfavorably about me to other staff members, which has left me feeling as though I can no longer trust her. I can't work with someone who I don't trust to support me. I appreciate the opportunity, but unless this situation changes, I am done. At least that would be completely believable. Helen is very difficult to work with. Story 13. So quit until I get my finances in order, then disappear. Story 14. I would tell the manager, see you later, and never set foot in that store again. I would not give 2 weeks' notice. Story 15. I will continue doing my job. Sooner or later, it will be $0. Story 16. I think I would just stop showing up to work and let him figure it out. Story 17. Hey boss, it has been great working with you, and thank you for the positive work environment. Here is $100,000 because you are a good person. Story 18. I wish I could say that I will miss you, but I will not. You truly were an awful manager, and I regret getting you the job. Story 19. Hey boss, I have a problem with my eyes. I just cannot see coming into work anymore. Story 20. I would just send an email stating that I am resigning effective immediately. There is no need to overdramatize anything. Story 21. Mr. President, I have given this country 22 years, and now I am done. I am retiring to Portugal. Story 22. Can you sign this non-disclosure agreement, please, and then hand out $50,000 per person to each employee stating it is a one-time bonus. This way, I can distribute the cash and maintain my lottery winner anonymity. Story 23. I would give them at least a month's notice. I have a lot of tasks. Story 24. Hello, I just won the lottery. Unless you want to pay me approximately $1 billion, I think I will leave, if that is all right with you. Story 25. Sorry, I have to go. I need to return some videotapes. Story 26. Hey boss, good news. It is no longer in my best financial interest to continue spending my effort for company profit. Therefore, as an employee who cares and has a responsibility to this company and our shareholders to do what is most financially responsible for all parties involved, I must regretfully resign effective immediately. Story 27. I have a great boss. Nice guy. Lets me do my job and leaves me alone. Hey, I won the lottery. I need to give my 2-week notice, you understand that. But when I am in Philadelphia, I will take you to a Philadelphia Phillies game, sit in the luxury suite, and get sloppy drunk. Story 28. I would walk into his office with the biggest Bluetooth speaker I could get, turn the volume all the way up, and play the Dead Kennedys cover of Take This Job and Shove It, while giving him the finger. I would not say a word, and as soon as the song was over, I would just walk out and never look back. Story 29. Thank you for everything, and I am sorry that you were losing me. Story 30. My boss is actually very cool, so I would give him a large amount of money and tell him I appreciate all he has done for me. I am going to a beach somewhere and will never work again. Story 31. Probably quietly give him a large check for being the best manager I have ever had and hope he has the best retirement. Story 32. I would be professional about it and give my 2 weeks notice. He has been a good boss. Story 33. If it was one of the big ones, hey boss, I'm done. Sorry for the short notice. Let's discuss your next role heading up my family office and charitable foundation. Story 34. Hey, I am going to have to resign. Sorry for not giving you more notice. Story 35. Nothing. I am handing in my laptop without saying anything to them. Story 36. Cable placid touch money coherent connect advised label salt tie. Story 37. So, I finished the archival and I will be leaving now. Please remember to eat lunch and get some decent sleep. Those 5 hours a night will catch up to you sooner or later. Story 38. My boss is pretty chill, but I will probably tell him that I am putting in my 2 weeks notice because I found a better job opportunity that aligns with my career goals in information technology. I will mention that if he needs an extra set of hands, he can feel free to call me, since we are somewhat short-staffed. I will also likely give him and the other employees at my workplace a generous tip. We have fewer than 10 employees at my workplace, which is a small family-owned business. Story 39. Pack your things. We do not have to deal with these people anymore. Download Post Malone's new songs. I love my boss. Story 40. I would stay until they find a suitable replacement, and I would be happy to train. I like my boss, so I will give them some money, and there are some others at work I would give money to, but of course that would depend on how much I won. Story 41. I would like to thank my direct supervisor for being supportive and giving me a chance to switch careers a few years ago. He has been a wonderful teacher and mentor. Then I would buy a ticket to Colorado, find my actual work adversary, and tell him to leave me alone in every language. Story 42. Thank you for saving me many times from upper management. Here is some money. Please stop working so much. It is going to harm you. Story 43. My boss is one of my better friends. He was actually a customer of mine over 20 years ago. Then he invited me to our current job. So I helped him and his family with some money. Story 44. You're not the only one who just soiled their pants. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my 7-month-old is my boss. Story 45. I'd say I inherited enough money to reach my retirement goal and will give 1 or 2 months' notice. The job, my team, and my boss have been good to me. The work will naturally slow down as responsibilities transition, and I do not expect to be working full weeks or be there for more than a month. Treat them with respect, but do not reveal that I won the lottery. Story 46. I will probably give 2 weeks' notice once the funds are deposited in my bank account. Story 47. I won the lottery today, and I am deciding to quit my job. Story 48. Wait for the busiest time of the year, November and December, and then submit my notice. You did not appreciate what I did when I was there. You will now. Story 49. Hey man, I'll be honest. I recently received a significant amount of money, surprisingly, the kind of money that means I do not have to work full-time ever again. I am kind of sorry, but I need time to sort this out, and then I will go on an extended vacation. I am afraid I will have to quit. My boss is a nice and fair person. Story 50. I would probably keep working. I like my supervisor. The difference is I would work to have something to do rather than having to do it to pay my bills. Story 51. Nothing. I like my job. I would not quit. I would just have super awesome vacations. Story 52. I would buy enough shares to get a seat on the board and become an absolute menace to the members of management who are jerks. I would also try to make it a better place for everyone. Story 53. It has been great working here. Can I stay on as a casual employee? I love my job, and to be honest, I would not quit even if I had millions. Story 54. Apparently, I have an uncle who is a Nigerian prince. He left me his fortune, and I need to move to take care of his people. Can I get bereavement leave before I quit? Story 55. Thank you for all you have done for me, and I wish you only the best. I despise people who suddenly feel entitled to be petty when their circumstances change. I saw that in a female colleague when she married into a wealthy family, as if that was her merit at all. She got a divorce 1 year later, and they had a prenuptial agreement. Story 56. Thank you for the opportunity, but I have decided to move on. That there is no reason for him to know about my new money. B. There is no reason to be uncivil about it. If there is, I would say, suck it, you just won a lottery, and I bet that knowledge can sustain you. Story 57. I would have to tell them that I am now seen as a security risk and that it is unsafe for me to continue working in my current job. Story 58. Just thank you for the opportunity. I am retired now. See you around. Story 59. Give him my 2 weeks' notice to allow him time to find a replacement. Inform him that I am moving. Story 60. If I win the lottery and do not have to worry about money, I will never show up at work again. The most my boss will get is, "Hey, I will not be working here anymore. Goodbye." Story 61. My job drives me nuts sometimes, and I would love to quit with financial independence, but overall it is not my boss's fault that the job is difficult sometimes. He has been great to me, and any time I have had a problem or asked for a raise, he has accommodated me. I would leave on good terms for sure. Since my company is small and my boss is intelligent, I might even invest a little into it. Story 62. I would tell him to leave me alone and stop being so demanding. It really frustrates me sometimes. However, I work for myself. Story 63. Assuming it is a big win where I would never have to work again, I would resign effective the end of the year and use the rest of the year to wrap up my projects, hand everything over, and be done. There is no sense in causing problems. I like my job, coworkers, and boss. It is only a few more months, and I would need to get my new life set up anyway. Story 64. If it was hundreds of millions, I would go to work as if it was a normal day. But I would have hired 5 men in black suits and ties, sunglasses, and with earpieces, something official and undercover, to rush in that morning, come straight to my desk, grab me and say, "Sir, Operation Falcon is live." Then have them escort me out to never be seen again. Story 65. My current manager is probably the best I have ever had in my working life. I thank them for the opportunities they have given me and wish them the best. I do not have anything negative to say. As for a couple of my coworkers, that is another story. Story 66. I would use all my sick days and holidays, then stop showing up. Take advantage of them as much as I can. Story 67. Nothing at all. I would simply send an email saying I am out, and when they ask why, I would be blunt and tell them what a terrible place it is. Story 68. I would tell them they have until October to find my replacement. I would say I have an opportunity one need to pursue but would refuse to elaborate. Story 69. I wouldn't quit my job. I don't want to attract unwanted attention. I would work for at least a couple of years and enjoy every day of it. Eventually, I would probably end up getting fired because of how little I would care. I would probably end up changing careers for a couple of years. Work is interesting and I like the routine. I guess the only thing I would tell my boss is to provide more feedback on their performance. I would want to keep working too, not burn bridges because a few lottery winners have had to return to work. Story 70. This has been covered already. I memorized all the lines. I just need to win the lottery. Story 71. Since I am the boss and the only employee, I would probably say, who wants to go to Paris? Story 72. I would like to thank them for the opportunities they gave me and tell them it has been a pleasure. Today will be my last day, and then I will finish my shift. Story 73. I would submit a one-line resignation letter and decline to provide further explanation. Story 74. I'd say, hey you, yes you in the mirror. I'm out of here. Now let's go have some fun. Story 75. I have friends looking for jobs, and I would probably recommend someone before I go. Story 76. I have been an employee of the supermarket since 2006, but I think it is about time I leveled with you. The truth is, I never wanted to work for the supermarket. I never wanted to work there a single day in my entire life. The only reason I ever took a job there was because I was forced to. Now, who forced me does not matter. What matters is that I quit and I am never coming back. Story 77. My boss is very understanding. I would complete the project I am currently leading, ensure it is implemented correctly, and leave behind thorough documentation before departing. Story 78. He would see me on the news receiving the big check. That would be my notice. Story 79. At one of my seasonal gigs, I would inform my team leader that this will be my last season and send a note to my department head and the vice president thanking them for their kindness and flexibility. At my other sporadic gig, I might not quit but would discuss the possibility of either buying in or purchasing the building from the current owner and landlord so that some long-desired renovations and updates could be done. Story 80. I would buy the most spectacular outfit ever and show up with a couple of hype men following close behind me carrying boom boxes playing such great hits as We Are Not Gonna Take It and School Is Out Forever. I would slap my resignation letter down on my boss's desk and ride off into the sunset. Story 81. I already told my boss if I win the lottery, I will text him that evening with my 12-hour notice. It is retail. I am easily replaceable, so good luck with that. Story 82. I would pack all my things and send a quick email saying I quit effective immediately. Forget them. Story 83. Since my wife is my boss, it would go something like this. Honey, I'm going out for a baguette. I might be a while because it's from that little bakery we liked so much in Paris. Story 84. I like my supervisor, so I would give him a few $1,000s since he is going through a difficult divorce. He has supported me and helped me when I needed it, so it is my turn to return the favor. Story 85. Not sure if I would quit. I really enjoy my job and I love my supervisors. Story 86. I actually like my job in the film industry and most of the people I work for and with. I honestly would show up and just let everyone try to figure out who parked the Koenigsegg in the crew parking. Story 87. I love my supervisor. She is amazing, so I would submit my 2 weeks notice, saying I have a new opportunity one cannot pass up, and thank her for everything she has done for me. Story 88. I would tell them I deserve a raise, and if they cannot make it happen by the end of the day, I will not return. Story 89. You'll understand once you know that I worked at Walmart. Story 90. It would be pretty awkward. I would have to yell at myself in the mirror. I am also not sure what I would say. Story 91. I would keep working the bare minimum and not get involved in any projects or plan growth strategies. I would need to go through 3 performance improvement plans before being fired. Meanwhile, I could file for stress-related health issues and go on long-term sick leave, receiving 60% of my pay with the rest paid by the government. When I return after 2 years, I would probably be placed in an inconsequential team or department. Depending on how this works out, they might make my position redundant, but I would still receive a bonus and 2 months extra pay. Story 92. I won the lottery and I am taking my female coworkers on a holiday. I will bring them back in a few weeks. Story 93. I will probably say that I am quitting due to personal life reasons. I would not tell anyone except my immediate family if I won the lottery. It is none of their business to know my personal life issues. Story 94. I am not coming in tomorrow. Then I would probably send an email to Human Resources simply saying I resign, effective immediately. That is it. Nothing else. Just a formal goodbye. And then disappear. Story 95. I like my bosses at the local hardware store with helpful staff. If the lottery winnings are significant, I would gift a portion of the cash to the store. There are many small items that need to be replaced, updated, or repaired, but the store's profits do not cover these expenses. I would say, hey Mike, here is $10,000, a list of suggestions, and make sure everyone in the store gets a nice bonus as part of it. I like our group of people. Story 96. I would submit my application for retirement as soon as possible and start taking vacation leave. I would then contribute my pension and severance pay to my winnings. Story 97. I would show up in a Hawaiian shirt, board shorts, and flip-flops. I would give them my resignation letter that said, Aloha, effective now. Thank you for nothing. Story 98. You are the worst leader and mentor I have ever worked for. Please do better and treat your team like a team. Also, stop canceling one-on-one meetings. Finally, everyone can see when you step away from your computer for hours at a time. Microsoft Teams notifies others. Story 99. Honestly, I work for the best boss I have ever had in the last couple of years at a company I have been with for 15 years. I am his right hand and backup. We work very well in sync with each other and have significantly improved our site's culture compared to what it was before. I would tell him that I am willing to stay to help find and groom the right person to take on my role. He is the right type of leader who invests in us, and that has made us better at performing our roles and growing. I cannot leave a leader like that hanging high and dry when, with most others I have worked for, I would have told them to go away. Story 100. Like a scene right out of Vice President. So funny. And wait till Donald sees that haircut. It will be changed very soon, I would say. Story 101. My manager is a really nice person, so I would just say I am financially independent and do not need to work anymore starting immediately. However, he and his husband would be invited to my housewarming party at my new mansion. I would not even care to contact our chief executive officer. The human resources representative is on maternity leave, so I would not bother her. Story 102. You are often stubborn and difficult to deal with. Although you treat and pay your employees above the industry average, you can be hard to reach. Sometimes you can be inconsiderate. I own a business. Story 103. I really appreciate the opportunities this job has provided me and the brilliant engineers I have been able to work with. Unfortunately, a recent personal change has allowed me to refocus my priorities, and I will be submitting my letter of resignation. Story 104. My supervisor has been great for the most part. I would walk in and give my 1-month notice so they had more time to find a replacement and work things out before retiring. Story 105. Thank you for the growth you have implemented in me. It is time for me to flourish in another career field. Story 106. I would play the famous Johnny Paycheck song, You Can Take This Job and Shove It. Story 107. I would go in, leave my laptop, phone, and keycard on the desk just like a normal day. I would go to my car and just be gone. Not a word, not a sound. Story 108. I quit. Oh my God. What are we going to do? Hopefully, some serious self-reflection on the way you treat your most important employees. Story 109. It is not like this is a real job. It is more like an exercise in exploitation. Story 110. I would tell her that I am paying her debt. She is very kind. Story 111. I would tell everybody I have been living frugally and saving, and I am finally ready to retire. My supervisor knows my salary. It would drive them nuts. Story 112. My supervisors are all great. I won't give specifics, but paying for a nice team day before I leave would be appreciated. Story 113. If I won an absurd amount of money, I would give $1 million to each one of my coworkers who deserved it, on the condition that they also quit immediately and give nothing to those who do not deserve it. Story 114. Hey, I quit, I said as I looked at myself in the mirror. Story 115. Hand in a 2 weeks notice. As far as jobs go, I have a very good one. I would prefer to have the option of returning. Story 116. You should have fired Jessica when you had the chance. I have to go now. Story 117. How would I like to leave? Fake my own kidnapping from work. Or have a special weapons and tactics team, complete with an armored vehicle and helicopter, come arrest me. Or get a very beautiful woman to pull up in a very expensive car, come in, and start flirting with me. Then, right as she's leaving, she'll tell me that I can be her sugar baby if I leave with her right now, at which point I would leave. Pretty much something unexpected that everyone will talk about. But honestly, I'd probably just say, I just won the lottery, I quit. Story 118. I would do my very best to make them forget I ever existed. Whatever happened to Slyest? A few of them would say. I might burn my house down for fun, make no insurance claim, then move somewhere I want to live around things I want to do. None of these things will involve people I am not currently related to, and to be honest, I will exclude many of those as well. Story 119. Nothing. They just would not see or hear from me again. I would not return calls or texts. I would simply disappear. Story 120. A knee slap as I get up saying, Wheelp, it's been fun, but I should be leaving now, after already loading my car with my belongings. Story 121. So many positive responses. I would consider ceasing communication with him and the entire company. Story 122. Seriously, do not quit. I have seen people going crazy after retirement. Story 123. Everyone always talks about quitting their job after winning the lottery. I wonder how long it would take for them to fire me. Story 124. I would block them all and never speak to any of them again. Story 125. Nothing. I come in on a Sunday and clear my desk without saying a word. Story 126. I would stay calm and simply inform everyone at work that I was relocating to another state for family reasons. Story 127. Thank you for the job. I will be moving. Here is my 2-week notice. Story 128. Wait for something annoying to happen at work. Do you hear that? That is the sound of it being your problem. Story 129. I would give her a large portion of my winnings, and we would run away together to eat fruit at the beach, enjoying the moment forever. My supervisor is one of the greatest people I have ever had the privilege to meet, and I love her. Story 130. I would say, so, bad news I suppose, but I have just come into significant money and I need time to deal with it. How would you feel about me taking a 6-month sabbatical and then checking back in to see if you still might have work for me? I know you cannot promise anything, but I would like to leave the door open if I can. If anything, I am happy to pop back in for open enrollment just to ease the workload on the new staff. That statement makes sense if you are in the business of group life insurance. I am happy in my work. It is corporate, but I have never really invested my efforts in corporate, and I have been enjoying it. It is steady work, reliable. You do not get fired on a whim. You get training resources, you have input into process. It is a functional environment. I am happy with it. I like my work. It is not much, nor exciting, but it keeps me busy and engaged. I would like to keep the avenue open if that is something I am still interested in. If not, that is okay too. I have just made enough investment in knowledge that I would like to keep doing something with it, even if it is just making customers happy. Story 131. I would keep working until we had a really bad day. Then a bunch of pizzas would show up and I would disappear. Story 132. Honestly, I would just let him know that he has done a lot for me. I appreciate how well he has paid me over the years and would give him a great gift dependent on the amount I won. After that, I would definitely pursue a relationship with his daughter. For reference, my boss is already my father-in-law. Story 133. I would let him know how grateful I am for the time I worked here, but I need to spend time with my family now that I have the chance. Story 134. My boss has been very great to me. I would like to thank him for everything because he is a wonderful person. I also want to tell him he is welcome to join me for any kind of trip. Story 135. I would tell my boss it has been a privilege working under her leadership. She is truly a leader. She fights hard for fairness for our team and advocates for us constantly. If it were not for her, I would never have had the opportunity to pioneer my own program that I built from scratch. I would probably give her a generous sum of money to spend as she wishes on her 2 children she adopted, plus some for herself. Story 136. Did not win the lottery but received life-changing money. Spent my time getting organized. Had been at this job for 30 years and loved the work but hated the new management. One day decided it was not worth it, so I picked up my keys and walked away. Story 137. I would give 2 months' notice and commit to creating a replacement and handoff plan. I would work as an independent consultant for the next 4 months if needed. Story 138. I would tell my team lead that he deserves better than what the board and management are putting him through. I would give him a check for enough money to let him start over in a career he truly loves, and suggest that he recommend they fire the one staff member who makes the whole team want to quit. As for the owner of the company who made terrible business decisions resulting in everyone burning out from being overworked and underpaid and refuses to take accountability, I would tell him that I hope no one falls for his act again, and to check his ego before someone else does. Story 139. Thank him for the employment over the years with drinks at the bar on me. Story 140. I would tell the boss that I am giving a today's notice. I am quitting today. Story 141. Here is the million-dollar question. Can everyone except Ed get their jobs back? Please? My best friend was just laid off due to reductions in force and a shortage of funds from the state. Story 142. I would take the high road and say thank you for the opportunity. Story 143. If I worked in the office, I would cater some excellent lunch for everyone and throw a party without telling them why, then simply not show up afterward. Since I work remotely now, I would probably just give my 2 weeks' notice and disappear. Story 144. It has been enjoyable and genuine, but it has not been very fun. I am quitting. Story 145. Most likely, I would hand him an envelope with about $30,000 in cash and tell him that I need to head back to my parents and that he should enjoy himself. Story 146. I worked at my job for 4 years. I do not hate my boss or job, so I would like to say thank you. I am boring. Story 147. My boss is amazing. I would probably tell him that I have come into money to do the clerical training I want. I plan to return as a chaplain and work for him part-time while working full-time at the temple. Story 148. Hey man, I recently came into a significant amount of money. Please provide me with a total for the outstanding loans the company has. I will have my assistant prepare a check for you. I am keeping the van. I like my boss, he has been good to me. Story 149. You may consider this my 2 weeks' notice, 2 weeks late. Goodbye. Story 150. I would not quit. I would just go part-time or per diem. I am a registered nurse for reference. Story 151. I would clap them both on the back and say thanks. It has been fun. Here is a $300 gift card. Enjoy some drinks on me. Story 152. I am resigning effective immediately. Thank you for your kindness, hospitality, and many wonderful memories. Story 153. Send them a clip of "So long and thanks for all the fish" from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Story 154. My last job before retirement was an unpleasant experience with a new supervisor who thought she knew everything. She realized I was finished when she yelled at me and I said nothing. I placed my personal belongings in my car and left my schedule books and keys on her office chair. The direct deposit for my final paycheck was processed without any issues. Story 155. I am friends with my boss. He would be happy for me and would wish me the best. Story 156. Thank them for what they have done for me, but I want to pursue my passions, do some traveling, and go back to school. Story 157. I would tell myself to go away and to focus on my job. I bet that would make me frustrated. Story 158. I will tell him that I want to find another job, a work-from-home one. There is no way I will broadcast a lottery win. I will keep it a secret from everyone. Story 159. I would say, I won the lottery today and decided that I will quit my job. Story 160. I got along well with all of my bosses except one, so I would give them 2 weeks, maybe more. My last job, though, on my last day, I walked into the general manager's office and human resources office and told them to pay a gigolo or something to get rid of their attitude. Story 161. Simple 2-week notice backed up by a mariachi band in the lobby. The whole building would know in minutes. Story 162. It has been great working with you, but it looks like I am retiring before you. Story 163. You are a fraud, and despite your best efforts to paint a different picture, everyone knows it. Story 164. Hey, I know this is my first day, but I think I just won the lottery and will need to delay my start date until I confirm it. If I confirm it, I think it would be better to hire the next person on your list. I believe you can easily understand why. Story 165. I would just send them an email saying goodbye and good luck. Why do anything more? It is not like I need the reference. Story 166. If I won enough, I would give all of my teammates $1 million so we could all quit at the same time. My boss would freak out if that happened. Story 167. As much as I fantasize about saying everything I have been thinking for years, I do not want to broadcast the fact that I won. Therefore, I will probably say that I am taking early retirement. Story 168. I warned them that if they continued to push us down this path, I would leave as soon as I found something better. They basically shrugged their shoulders and said, "Oh well." However, I am in a small town without many options for what I do. Since I bought a house a few years ago, I am kinda stuck for now. I work in a hospital, and I have a few coworkers who are just awful people in general. I have often fantasized about walking in and giving a briefcase containing $1 million to all the good coworkers who treated me with respect. Then, I would make a large donation to the hospital itself in exchange for naming my area after myself. It would be a great joy knowing those difficult people have to come into work every day and see my name in big, bold letters above the doorway while all the good people are out living life without worries. Story 169. I do not have a boss, but if it were my last boss, I would easily give him $1 million and everyone else on the crew. I am pretty sure he and his wife would retire early and travel. They are very good people. All the guys on the crew could live off that if they invested it correctly, or at least would have a huge advantage in life. The boss before that, I would call and say I won the lottery. As you can expect, I am not working anymore. I hope you have a great life, and thank you for the employment. Story 170. He is more than welcome to help himself to my desk sandwich, and I am outie. Story 171. This income and the pain associated with it are no longer necessary. Story 172. Hey, I bought this place now, okay? I work in a very clean and nice pre-war car shop. Story 173. Sir, I've won the lottery. Yes, for real. Yes, I would want to start the paperwork as soon as possible. I would also like to put some money on the bar Ferda. Story 174. Hey man, I just won a large amount of money, so I am going to get out of here and start a hippie community. I do not want to leave you hanging though, so just let me know what work I can do to transition out without harming the company. I mean, my boss is my friend. Story 175. I'm sorry I could not do the job you assigned me. You are right, I am a difficult person to deal with. You should send someone else to do the job. You know what? I do not need to let you down anymore. Quit. Story 176. Thank you for all the opportunities. I hope we can meet again someday. Never burn bridges on purpose. At most, go no contact. Story 177. I have found a better job that pays me more. I appreciate the opportunity. Have a wonderful day. I will be very surprised if anyone knows I won the lottery. There are exactly two people who would know. My fiancé because it would be really hard to hide, and my best friend because I tell him everything. He is also married to my sister, so he would be getting a large portion of the money anyway. Story 178. I started my new job 3 months ago. I told him, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to prove myself and a fresh start in a new industry. This money will help me take time off and enjoy all the things I've always wanted to do. I'll stay on until you find a suitable replacement and they settle in. Let's have dinner and drinks once in a while." If it were my previous job, which I had for 7 years, I would have handed in my 24-hour resignation and paid the 3-month salary levy to leave. I would not say a word but buy shares of that company to raise concerns at shareholders' meetings. Story 179. My boss actually lost sleep once because she was thinking about how she would split the money with us if she won the jackpot. I feel like I would have to give her at least something before I left. Story 180. Honestly, my boss is an awesome person, so I apologize for being as lazy as I have been for the past several months. I would still quit, but I would take responsibility for all my mistakes. Story 181. What are the chances you would offer me a severance package to leave? Story 182. I would not quit my job. I work at my local gym. I do not need the money. I love my supervisor and the people I work with. I enjoy helping people get fit. Story 183. So long, and thanks for all the fish. And as a fan, they would laugh. Story 184. I would block him and everyone I work with, and they would never hear from me again. Story 185. First, I would never quit my job. I would only reduce my working hours to 3 days a week instead of 5. What would I say? I have been working very hard for the last 15 years, and my investments have paid off, so I am going to reduce work to enjoy life more. Story 186. I figure it will take time for the money to hit my account, so something like, "Thank you for everything. I have nothing but great things to say about you and the company, but you need to find my replacement as soon as possible." Story 187. I will be grateful to him for giving me the opportunity to earn for my people in the first place. Story 188. I would not do anything until the check clears and I can see the money safely in my bank account. Then I would walk into the office with my laptop and identification card, say I quit, and walk out. Story 189. My boss has been amazing throughout the years. I can do the work that I want. He has been respectful of me and values me as a worker. If I win the lottery and he agrees, I would throw a party at the office and pay for everything. Story 190. I would email Dave Calhoun and then copy everyone at the Boeing company. Hey Dave. Story 191. I run a small business, so it is more like what I would say to my employees and clients. Honestly, I think I would just keep things going as they are and pay my employees most or all of the company profits. Story 192. I would not have to say anything. I would walk in wearing my pajamas and a robe. In my hand would be the largest rolled cigarette I could make. I would walk into his office and put my feet up on his desk. Story 193. My current supervisors are really excellent, and I enjoy working for them. I would buy them both something nice. I would honestly do the job temporarily, make it remote, and then go on extended vacations during the off-season. Story 194. Nothing related to the lottery. Just the usual reasons people quit their jobs. Like, I got a better offer, or for personal reasons. Story 195. Work is not family. I have never had anything sentimental to say to a boss other than, I am gone starting date XX/YY. Story 196. I have great supervisors. I would split about $2 million between my supervisors and coworkers. Story 197. My job and my supervisor are both excellent. However, if I win retirement funds, I would resign. I would not inform him or anyone about the lottery win. Life is too short to work if it is not necessary. Story 198. I would go back to the last place I worked, thank one boss, tell the other she is unpleasant, then call the fire department and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to the back kitchens. Story 199. Alleged consist shy aware unwritten lunchroom payment shaggy connect Rob. Story 200. Take a close look at last year's contract. I never actually signed it. Story 201. Hi, here is my 4-week notice, or however many weeks are specified in my contract. Thank you for the opportunities you have given me. Story 202. I am an independent contractor working for 2 or 3 different companies right now. Company 1 is a company I have worked for the last 20 years, since about the year 2000. They have been really good to me, so even if I want to quit working part-time or half-time, I would still keep them because they have been loyal to me. Company 2 I have worked for since February of this year. They have been kind of difficult people, even though the money has been really good and I could use it. With them, I would definitely send a message and say, forget you. The third company I just started with looks like it will provide some good work and fairly decent money. Depending on the financial earnings, I would probably tell them that I decided to take some time off and that I would like to give it a shot again in the near future. As a message, I am going to be working anyway. Even if I am rich, I haven't seen many rich men stop working. Story 203. I would look in the mirror and say, you did it. You crazy son of a gun. You did it. Story 204. My how the tables have turned. Now that I am the one with the capital, would you like to work for me? I work for a real estate developer as their construction manager. Story 205. I made it, man. This is my 2 weeks notice. Thank you for everything. This is the best place I have ever worked. Story 206. It looks like I do not have to work anymore. I am submitting my 2 weeks notice right now. Story 207. Nothing, I will still go to maintain income, but I do not care about the tasks. Story 208. I can't thank you enough for being such a great manager. I'm quitting to pursue new interests previously out of reach. Story 209. I would find a recent policy change that is really unpopular with my coworkers and cite that as a reason to quit. Story 210. I don't think I need to say much. I just found different options or decided to get into camming. Story 211. Honestly, I would not quit. I get bored. I have zero desire to start a business. However, if I suddenly came into 8 figures, I might consider it. I definitely would not tell anyone at all. Story 212. I am unemployed, so I guess my previous boss. I think I would buy the building outright and ask everyone to leave. Story 213. If you do a job only because of money, you should change your job. If you win the lottery and feel you need to stop doing what you like doing, you are doing something wrong. Story 214. I would probably stay because I can choose my hours and would not be able to occupy my time otherwise. Story 215. Nothing. I would just leave my equipment on the desk after hours and leave. Story 216. My employer has been terminating employees and assigning their tasks to me, so I wanted to tell them to leave me alone. Story 217. Bye-bye, baby. Bye-bye, she said in the letter. And that was all she wrote. Guess this is goodbye. Guess this is forever. And that was all she wrote. Story 218. I would like to thank them for the opportunity and wish them and my colleagues the best of luck for the future. Story 219. Probably taking him and some others on an epic farewell golf trip. Story 220. Thank you for the opportunity that this employment has brought me. I would like to buy you a car of your choice under $150,000. God bless. Story 221. Do you want to come on holiday with me and shop for a second home in Italy? My boss is my husband. Story 222. Dude, you are not that great. You think you have figured it out. But you are an anxiety-laden fraud who uses your theoretical charm to get through projects while relying on your team to do the hardest work. I am the boss, for what it is worth. Story 223. My boss has been great, and I genuinely love certain parts of my job. I would do those parts until they find a replacement. I would put $20,000 into the college fund of their child. Story 224. I would give them plenty of notice because they would be upset, and they are very understanding. Also, I have free housing, and I would need time to buy my solid gold treehouse to move into. Story 225. My coworkers and I have agreed that if someone wins the lottery, they will not show up to work but will provide lunch in the form of Chipotle catering. Story 226. This job is not worth it. I would rather take a pay cut at a different place than spend another minute here damaging my mental health. Story 227. Hello, I just won the lottery and I am willing to work here for the next 2 weeks so you can find a replacement, but I am going to quit. Story 228. So long and thanks for all the fish. Story 229. Since I am self-employed, I would ask myself where I am going and if I am taking myself along for the ride. Story 230. There was a series of hilarious French commercials for the French National Lottery with that theme. Story 231. I would like to apply for an indefinite leave, just in case. Story 232. I do not know if I could. My principal has given up 2 different opportunities that would have greatly improved his family's finances. No one would have blamed him for taking either. But he loves our staff and we love him. He knows money does not always make things better. Since he has been so committed to us, I do not think I could bail on him. Story 233. Keep working without making it obvious. My supervisor is good to me, but I would give some money to a close friend who deserves it for her accomplishments. Story 234. Take luck. Take care of the luck that you have. If you have luck, take it. Care for it. Story 235. I will probably go to the shop early, drop off the work truck and keys and leave. I would not even answer my phone for him. He has shown he does not care about the employees or my money. I would definitely help out some of the people I work with so they could get away from the job as well. Story 236. That would be nice, but I just found out last week that the job I love is going away because the facility is shutting down due to unmanageable energy costs and unfair rent increases. Be thankful for your jobs. They could be gone tomorrow, and the people who take them from you will not bat an eye or lose a moment of sleep while you are struggling. Story 237. If I had the enough money to say no money, like say a $500 million lottery win, I would give $500,000 to $1 million to my fellow coworkers who I like on the condition that they instantly quit on the spot. I would leave via a rope ladder that drops down from a helicopter like a Batman villain. If I get the job that I am interviewing for, one that will pay twice as much as I am making now, I would confront my least favorite customer, the one who definitely has it coming. Story 238. Say hell, they would be lucky if I sent them a text saying I quit. Story 239. I believe Peter Griffin covered it best. Story 240. I have thought about this scenario a bit. Honestly, I love my job and the people I work with. I would definitely support my team. I might stay to work on some tasks that I really enjoy doing as a consultant in systems administration and automation, then donate the money because I would not need it anyway. I have to keep busy. Too much idle time is not my friend. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.